Greetings, folks. My name is Timothy. I am reporting to you from the Hard Times Trail, Asheville, North Carolina, under a Virgo full moon. Now, this time period is a particularly dense, rich, maybe intense. It is a particularly life-determining period, and we have that potency, we have that sense maybe of heaviness. As we have gone through these periods in the past, as we are going through at this time, and as we undoubtedly will go through again in the future. This is human life. We are survivors. And when we're dealing with a full moon in Virgo, Virgo is humbling. We would like to believe that we could make this reality perfect. But whenever we do reach a level of mastery, a level of achievement, another challenge, another level, another dimension, another interconnection between what works and what doesn't, what's right and what's wrong, what could have been better, and yet what we gained and learned from it being exactly as it is. Virgo. All of its glorious divine imperfection, designed to keep us in check, alert, aware of what is that we are actually working towards. What are the parts we are working with? What are they connected to? How well are they functioning together? And what could be improved? Because in Virgo we find that it can always be improved, because if you are alert, if you are aware and attentive, you will always find areas in your life to improve. Because life is not perfect, and that's humbling. Because we would like to believe we could make this reality perfect, but whenever we do reach a level of mastery, another level or dimension or challenge or interconnection between what works and what doesn't, what's right or what's wrong, what could have been better, what we gained and learned from it being exactly as it is, all of its glorious divine imperfection designed to keep us in check, alert, aware of what is it that's actually working. How well are the parts working together? What can be improved? And you can find life can always be improved because life is not perfect, and that's humbling. Because we would like to believe that we can make reality perfect. But there is a hidden perfection in all of this imperfection. And that is because life is always imperfect. Life can always be improved, better and better and better. The goal is not to be at the finish line today, but to find peace in always getting there. Like knitting or painting or making music, we don't want to be at the final line, the final musical notation. We enjoy the process, the journey, the unfolding. This is Neptune. The beauty of life, the symphony, the eternal dancing progression. And we find not only peace, but bliss, love, wisdom in accepting life as it is. Imagine every single time you did something, it was just a little bit off. Well, that's you and me. I know what everyone's thinking, but it's all good. Everything is spot on, it all turns out. It's all for a good purpose, and that's true too. Important and wonderful to possess that perspective. The glass is half full. We can get ourselves out of trouble, and that perspective is just another part of the greater whole, and an important part. But I'm one of those who attempts, and fails, to speak to every part. And we have incredible biases. We all have incredible biases. Remember that the next time you feel judged. And the next time you make a mistake, remember that you are not a failure. Life is designed to be this way. This is not failure. This is all feedback. Full moon in Virgo. I hope that captured a bit of the flavor, the archetype of this sign of the zodiac, as well as what this full moon can be illuminating in our experience at this time. Now, on the day of our full moon in Virgo, Mercury is stationing direct at 28 degrees Aquarius. That full moon in Virgo, by the way, 19 degrees the sign of Virgo. And today, let's see, today's Sunday the 8th of March. Hello. We are having Venus conjoining Uranus in the early degrees of Taurus, while the Sun is joining Neptune in the mid degrees of Pisces. Now, this can really bring an objective awareness to our life. Again, what are the parts? Who are we dealing with? This can also bring an illumination of our relationships, resources. What are we dealing with? How much do we have? And this can be a real awakening time. Virgo is like an alert system, and the world is experiencing this alert system. Yes, we are on high alert, red alert. We can feel the paranoia. We can feel the surge of darkness and there being this alarm. And none of this is wrong. All of this is serving our greater interconnection to the human species, the earth, the planet, and what we need to do to get our shit together, honestly. And so also we see Chiron squaring the moon's nodes this weekend. Jupiter is coming into a conjunction with Pluto in 4 weeks from now. The next 2 months this will be going on, and it's exact April 4th. This Jupiter conjunct Pluto can really bring this awareness of this deeper, darker side of what's going on in life, as well as this sweeping paranoia through the awareness that this transit can bring. So, high alert, Jupiter, Pluto, we're dealing with coronavirus, right? We're seeing this all over the news. This virus was spread while the Sun was in Pisces, and now we see this full moon in Virgo, opposite to the Sun and Neptune in Pisces. So again, there's a collective theme here of high alert. And yeah, you know what? Jupiter is expansion, conjoining Pluto can be biological disease. But it's not just the spread of biological disease, it's also the spread of paranoia. And what that sounds like is it's the end of the world. And this is what it sounds like according to the mainstream news. What's new? The news uses fear to get attention, to earn money. It is a business, okay? So we have to bear that in mind. Though there is, again, an awareness of reality that Jupiter conjoining Pluto can bring. Key with Mercury stationing direct in Aquarius, full moon in Virgo, discernment. What to take, what to leave, what to be open to, and what to be shielding ourselves from. This is a theme here. Now, just as a little bit of my own warning alert system, there are so many pop astrologers and New Agers out there that are so uneducated about astrology, they are spreading this fear-mongering because they're not aware of what this astrology is, okay? So I'm not one to publicly humiliate, but there are folks out there that use particular New Age keywords: peace, infinity, spirituality, and then are speaking about extraterrestrials and vampires, and it's the end of the world. And these are folks that are not educated at all. We need to be discerning that the majority of so-called astrologers are not necessarily educated at all. My own personal recommendation is if anybody calls himself an intuitive astrologer, that means they are not educated. That's something to be aware of. Not that someone can't be very intuitive in their own approach to astrology, but we have to be aware that so many people out there talking all day long about astrology have not bothered to get an education because they're already entitled. They believe they know everything. These are the folks that have all the YouTube views and the huge following. So again, I'm not complaining. I'm simply saying this alert system is something we need to be carefully discerning of. In Virgo, is this information useful? Is this helping me? Is this serving me in my life? Do I feel healthier, more in control? Do I have more of a grip? Am I more centered? Am I more calm? Am I able to live my life to its fullest, easier and more effortlessly by being in tune with my true nature? Virgo's about reality, what is going on in our bodies, what's going on in our world, what really works, what really functions, what's really useful, and what's really healthy. And we live in a world where there's plenty of garbage, and we have to take that garbage to the garbage can and not hold on to it. It's not ours, it's not necessarily true, and we need to be discerning, is this helpful? If we need to protect ourselves, then that's practical, that's useful. Then we take the steps to protect ourselves, and then we feel calm, and then we feel centered, and we have no fear, and we live our life in a much more useful, effective, elegant way. So please, please be aware when we are exploring the internet and all of these conspiracy theories, just discern, is this practically useful or not? Just a little microcosmic example. I was in the local grocery store yesterday, and there was a person wearing a near hazmat suit with this, full-fledged gas mask, glasses for this coronavirus. And it's just like, wow. Now, I'm not saying whether that's the right or wrong thing to do. I don't like to tell people what to do. I encourage us to use our own mental faculty. Virgo's ruled by Mercury, the mind. We need our minds. We need our mental faculties. My own spiritual practices includes a lot of thinking. Thinking is wonderful. So here is a thinking, little game or challenge. Is the hazmat suit via the filtration system we all need to become aware of. Is it better to have the filtration system that's actually making sure nothing can get in and hide underneath a rock, or should we keep the filtration system keeping that fear and all of that, run out and buy all the water and stock up your, apocalypse beneath the floor, hideaway? Should we create a filtration system to keep that fearful paranoia out if that's not actually serving us? This is something to just, munch on, think about, because we all are in this period now. Mercury stationing direct, 28 degrees Aquarius. We can really get it. We can see it from a higher, more objective vantage point. We can see what are these parts that we're working with. We can understand how we're relating in our relationships that's less personal. I hope that when I share my opinion, it's not like you're wrong or you're bad. I'm not trying to upset anybody. Again, I make these videos as a service to hopefully help people. And this is why I do astrology, and this is why I am so passionate about preserving high-quality astrology, which is what I attempt to provide via my own willingness to make mistakes, fall on my face, call myself out, learn and improve through a consistent education. So not meaning to toot my own horn under a Virgo full moon, I'll probably have to wring my hands and feel shameful about that through the rest of the day. Kind of just kidding. Kind of. Oh boy. Now this objective awareness, Mercury in Aquarius, we can see things more impersonally. I like to use the example that Aquarius is like when humanity left the planet for the first time, used satellites and rocket ships to get the vantage point of Earth from outer space, and we took photographs and we know what the Earth looks like from outer space. That's Aquarius. It's this higher vantage point, looking through a microscope or a telescope, seeing everything from that greater distance, in which case we can see all the parts as they function together as a whole. Look at all the continents. Look at all the weather systems. Look, on this side of the globe, it's nighttime and all the lights and the light pollution's on. On this side of the globe, it's daytime. That's Aquarius. So this higher vantage point of Aquarius at this particular time, when Mercury stations direct, this is when we have new ideas, new thought forms, new concepts that are being realized. This processing's been going on for the last several weeks, but now we get to have this more objective vantage point. And from this objective vantage point, we can see how our human interactions, our exchanging of resources, with Venus conjoining Uranus today, more like a chemical reaction. It's like, okay, it's not personal. They're not actually flinging mud and hating and being an evil person or whatever complicated situations we're finding ourselves in these days. It's like, okay, they had this unique experience coming from this background. This person has had this experience and they're coming from this background, and these wires got crossed here and this tension took place at this point, and this is where this chemical reaction happened. And it is more like mixing ingredients and seeing how these ingredients come together. And then again, in this filtration system type of way, okay, how can we change this reaction? How can we change the circumstance, again, to be more empowered, to be healthier, cleaner? This is what we do under a Virgo full moon. We clean house. We get humble. We admit and discover our shortfallings, and we don't blame or hate ourselves. We understand this is what it means to be a human, and here is the opportunity to make things even better. Here's the opportunity to improve. We can rectify, we can adjust, we can make little revisions. I'll add a sprinkle of this. I'll take a little bit of this out, and it's all trial and error. We see what works, what doesn't. And this is how we improve. This is how we learn how to find that most effective way of living, the most effective way of relating to others, to preserve our own truth, our own confidence, our own situation and who we are, our goals, our dreams. This full moon is opposite to Neptune. We've been exploring a lot of ideals and dreams and goals through this Mercury retrograde beginning in Pisces, and Mercury re-entering Pisces on the 16th. We get to reapproach these dreams and these goals from this higher vantage point, from the eureka moments and realizations that are taking place at this time. Mercury retrograde's a beautiful process. It's an incredible time for us to learn more, to reflect. There's so much bullshit out there on the internet about Mercury retrograde, and once again, this is what the majority of people know. Of course, all of you who are on my Patreon page have been well aware of every single part of this Mercury retrograde process now through the end of March, so you've already got this info a month ago. Not to toot my own horn again, but some of us are just barely scraping by doing this. Let's talk about Chiron square the moon's nodes, for example. We are all on a healing journey at this time. We've all got closets to clean. We've all got challenges that we're dealing with. Even the super enlightened, perched on a cloud people, yes, they're learning and growing too, believe it or not. And I don't consider myself one of them. I'm down here. Chiron square the moon's nodes. We need to approach this aspect of human life. Why I have this tone is to provide the permission to be a human. This is one of the things I'm most redundantly coming back to with the New Age demographic, because some of these high and cloudy people, they send this misinformation that we can think the right thing or align the right way, and then everything's going to be perfect, and people get really harmed by these ideas. People are hurt, suffer, lose their minds, lose their life through misinformation and deceptive ideas such as this. So we have to be careful that what we're saying is informed. We have to be comfortable with, what's the name of this trail I'm on, The hard times trail. We've got to be comfortable in the hard times to embrace the hard times as being the most valuable points in our life. This is the wisdom of Chiron. This is some of the deepest wisdom of the healer, where we experience brokenness, where we experience crises. It's a time where these things can come up. It is an opportunity for us to learn, grow, heal. It is through our brokenness that the light comes in. It is through that feeling of inadequacy. I'm not acceptable. I'm not right. I'm not good enough. We need to breathe, accept this is okay. It's not a problem. We're not failing. We're not going to get sent to hell. We're not going to punish or need to punish ourselves more than what we're already living in a human experience. Forgiveness, Neptune. Acceptance, Neptune. Surrender, Neptune. But in balance with Virgo, discernment, protection, keeping that filtration system to preserve what works and what's healthy going for us. But yes, we have to accept this balance and this human nature. So we breathe through the painful times. This is a time of purging, releasing the guilt, the inadequacy, the fears, how much we fell short. And by breathing through it, we approach these areas and we release. There is a bleeding out with Virgo Chiron theme going on right now. Not necessarily comfortable when we think of bloodletting leeches from the medieval age or being put on the operation temple in the operation room table in the contemporary age. But this is where that energetic transfer takes place. That's where the junk, the old food poisoning from many, many lifetimes is released. And through this process, we come back renewed, fresh, opened up once again to our center, to our heart. So we have to be able to breathe through the discomfort and actually head towards the discomfort is very important. When Chiron is square the moon's nodes, there can be a tendency to run away. Again, there's this fearful vibe right now. I'm going to run away, I'm going to run away, I'm going to run away into the hazmat suit, into the protection. I'm going to run away from society, run away from the world, run away from my obligations, run away from our healing journey, run away from the natural, healthy, perfectly imperfect, discomforting and challenging parts of our life. It's not all fun and games. There are spiky parts. There are discomfortable parts. But when we lean in and breathe through, we start digesting, releasing, and it gets easier. If we run away, we actually carry all this junk with us. And what you will notice, you will observe souls who choose to do this. And I'm not saying it's wrong, because it's also natural that when we experience so much pain that we might have to come back to it later. So we don't judge other people. Rather, we honor everyone's healing journey is unique to them, and everyone approaches their own healing journey at their own way, in their own pace. That's really important, especially if we get into situations where we're putting on our shoulders the need to heal others, or we're waiting, or whatever it may be. We can't change the healing journey of others, okay? But when there's so much resistance from reality, from the pain, we run into alcoholism or escapism or drug addiction or sex addiction. I mean, we live in an addiction-fueled world. To cope with the discomfort, we're almost fish in water too. And this is unfortunate because we get very, very stuck by these cultural escape routes, and we end up imprisoning ourselves with these issues. Oh, got a bug in my mouth for the Virgo full moon. So, Chiron square the moon's nodes is a necessary period of healing. We need to follow these alert systems inside, sit with the crisis, but it's not the end of the world. It's an opportunity to process. It's not failure, it's feedback. We're experiencing this pressure at this time. We're experiencing a lack of freedom, a lack of capability. Maybe our energy, maybe that sense of confidence or direction is a little more challenged at this time with this Chiron in Aries. That's the stuff to lean into. If we look at this material, if we process the material, we can get the confidence, we can get the freedom, we can get the capability to initiate brand new, fresh, exciting pathways. That's what's coming ahead, folks. We're getting down to business right now to make this a real possibility in the future. We don't skip and hop and jump into the new age of Aquarius, folks. That's one of the greatest common misconceptions that oftentimes get circulated out there in these, these circles. By the way, if you're interested in Chiron square the moon's nodes, I recommend my good friend Ari Moshe put a video out on his YouTube channel, Chiron square the moon's nodes. I'll put a link in the video description. He'll go into more detail. But I got to continue. There's so much going on at this time. So again, this full moon in Virgo tomorrow, March 9th. Opposite to Neptune and the Sun, sesquiquadrate to the Uranus-Venus conjunction. Again, this is a period of acknowledging the adjustments taking place in our relationships, money, resources, so that way we can creatively share, we can participate in the world without self-sacrifice. But again, this adjustment is what needs to be acknowledged. The full moon opposite to Neptune, trine to the stellium of planets going on in Capricorn. Folks, we've got a Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, asteroid Pallas Athena conjunction going on these next months. Incredibly productive. This is like structural brilliance. We can build, we can create the world that we want to, and we are also seeing all of the structural challenges, what needs to be adjusted. This is a getting down to business time period. Go into much more detail about that Pallas Athena journey going on this year of 2020, also available to my Patreon followers. The full moon opposite to Neptune, healing through surrender, acceptance, letting go and letting the process of unfolding and life unwind. Accepting the perfect imperfection, but on the flip side, discernment. Recognizing what is helpful, recognizing what is not, being open and receptive to what we need to learn more, while removing and blocking out what is detrimental to our own learning and growing process. Regardless, I would say at this time, it is a work in process. Give yourself that flexibility, that space to be a human being. That being said, I want to thank you all so much. Those of you on YouTube, those of you on my Patreon page, thank you for my patience, for your patience while I've been going through this work in progress myself, getting to a new place, setting up everything, starting from scratch, building my foundation from the ground up. So I am here in Asheville, North Carolina, at least for the next several months. It is an exciting time. I'm going to be coming back online about a week from now to get back on track. So again, thank you for your patience and flexibility. Coming up these next weeks, we've got our spring equinox. We've got a lot of exciting astrology going on. Saturn's going to enter into the sign of Aquarius. Mars is entering into the sign of Aquarius. 2020, folks, is a year where we are laying the foundation for the decades to come. We are in this together, but every individual is unique. Virgo is also the reality that every single individual has some service, has some medicine to provide. And this is what comes out of our own healing journey. So please honor your own unique healing journey at this time. Feel free to share your journey in the comments below. If you join my Patreon page, you can pay any amount a month. It can be $1 a month. You can join my online chat room where we also have this nice supportive feel. People come in, share their stories, share their charts. You can ask me questions. You can share what's going on in your life. And we can begin to expose ourselves for this deeper healing gift that is coming out of our own struggles. Virgo and Chiron, it's like we are the herbs, being crushed up, releasing our own essence. And that essence is tasty. It is beautiful. And so I thank you for being a human being and being out there on the planet at this time. For the last time, signing off, wishing you all the best. Please do take care.